Alrighty.
You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry.
All right.
Oh,
What's going
Yeah.
on, everybody?
but I
Let's
don't
get this
wanna
out of here.
jinx it, baby.
Let's get that out of there. What's happening?
What's going
Welcome,
on,
welcome,
DB?
welcome. What's happening? T Hill. T Hill.
Oh
T
man.
Hill. T Hill. All right, hold on. Charles, what up, man? What's good? One man, neighbor, what's happening? Hold on a second, man. I'm not having, somebody's having some technical difficulties. Hold on one second, bear with me. I don't understand. I'm trying to figure this out here. So I had all right. Hey, check your email. You should have it. I don't know. Had an interesting conversation yesterday. Let me fix this. Had an interesting conversation yesterday
Mhm.
on I was over at Trucker Brown's live, and you know me, right? And you and some others. This is pretty much all we talk about because we're at that age,
Right,
right? We're at
right.
that age.
Over
Uh,
50. Over
o-
50.
Over 50, man.
Over
We're
50.
we're over the 50, and we constantly talk about retirement, what it means to you. Hey, baby, what it means to you, what
Mhm.
it means to me. We're different. We have some similarities, but retirement for you ain't the same as me, and nor should it be, right?
Right.
We like different things. We like to do different things. So we look at retirement different. I think, and that's why when I was over there yesterday, I asked, "What does it look like for you?" Because that's what's going to matter. Don't try to live my lifestyle or me try to live your lifestyle in retirement. Some people don't plan on retirement. What's your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, it all depends on who you're talking to because as when we were in our 20s, we probably wasn't thinking about retiring. So
Mm-hmm.
now we get closer to 40, late 30s. You're like, oh man, I need to start thinking about retirement. And or you start developing health issues and then you
Mm-hmm.
start thinking about retirement. So it's a bunch of little different little nuances that kind of guides you that way. Just like when you wasn't in trucking, you were trying to figure out what you were going to do. You wanted to go work for somebody or do something else, and then you kind of got steered towards trucking because of somebody, and then you started going down that road. So just to make it like it's not an exact, like everybody doesn't want, we noticed everybody doesn't want to retire, right? But if you do,
Mm-hmm.
and so you gotta have a plan. Just like when you're a kid, everybody doesn't want to work a job, but
Mm-hmm.
if you do, you're gonna have to have a skill.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why your parents say go to school, get your high school diploma, so you can compete. And when you get out of out of the house, you can get out here and start competing
Mm-hmm.
for what do you want to do with your life.
Mm-hmm.
But retirement is definitely something that I think a lot of people should at least consider. Like how you say, at least consider it, right? Don't say, "Oh man, I don't want to do that," or "It's not worth it." Or I've seen a poll yesterday. His
Mm-hmm.
401k is good, and it was almost 50-50. So 50% of
Mm-hmm.
the people think it's good, and 50% people, but at least consider it. That's what I would say. At least consider the
Absolutely.
the route.
Absolutely. Because if and let's be honest. We're all, well, at least I hope we're paying into retirement. You know what I mean? 'Cause if you paying your taxes, you paying into retirement.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So don't leave that money on the table.
So you
Now,
you're talking about Social
yep,
Security, right?
correct.
Okay. Because if you don't
Correct.
say that, they'll be like,
You're right. You're right. You're
what
right.
am I paying into? What are you talking about? The government's taking my money and putting it in. Yeah. If you're a W-2, if you're working for somebody, you should be paying into some type of retirement fund.
All right. Hold on one minute. We have a
Mm.
guest. Good afternoon, sir. Can you hear me?
We can see you, but you
We can
ain't
see you,
speaking.
but yeah. hmm Yeah, he can't hear us.
Yeah, you can't.
All right, can y'all hear me?
We can
Yeah,
hear
we
you.
can
You
hear
hear
you.
us.
Let me turn you up a little bit. I can't hear you guys for a little bit here.
We hear you
All right, you
loud and
guys say
Yeah,
clear.
something.
you
We
loud
hear
and
you
clear.
loud and clear.
All right. Say something one more time, DB.
Check, 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 check.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I can hear you. It's a little low. Let me turn my volume setting on my mic here.
hmm hmm
Yo, what up, Jerome Jones? Salute to
What up,
you.
everybody? Yeah, use sign language, Theo. Damn it. Come on, man. Get it together, man. hmm I sent this out to two other guests. I hope they could join us. And I like to just get, people's different perspective on this topic here. And
All right, I can hear you, DB. It just sounds a little low on my end. I'm not
I
sure
don't
why.
I don't know. Try to leave and
Yeah.
come back. I don't know.
All right. You sound clear
fine.
though. I mean, it's clear.
You
It's just a
sound
little
fine
low.
over here.
Yeah, you fine.
Yeah.
You probably just need to go in and turn his volume up on his headset.
Something. Where were we, T Hill?
Considering retirement.
Yes, at least consider it. And what does retirement look like for you?
Uh,
And how are you strategizing to achieve that? Because I
being on
look at retirement like a goal, so to speak.
It
correct?
is. It's definitely a goal. It's a monetary goal and accomplishments of things like paying off your house, right? That's a goal,
Mhm.
right? So you don't have that because for me, once you're retired, that means you're no longer working or and so I have to break this down because it's more of a spear, right? It's a circle. It's a lot of things going on in the spheres that you need to consider. It's not a one size fits all. It's definitely not something that
Yeah.
everybody is going to be thinking.
Okay, I'm back.
All right.
All right. So for retirement, it's a goal. For me, I had to pay off my house first. Once I paid off my house, because I'm working towards not having to go to work, because now I'm gonna go live off of my investments, access, and any other money that I might have coming in where I don't have to get up and go to work. Right. So a pension. So all this stuff I'm working towards. And when you get to your goal, then you could decide if you want to go to work or not. But once you retire, for me, retirement is not having to get up and go to work, and you're going to be on like a fixed income for a lot of people. So there's going to be people that's going to be homeowners or owning apartment complexes, and that's going to bring in residual money to help them get through.
hmm
So that's why I say it's a step-by-step process. It's not going to be just the word retirement, right? Retirement for a lot of people are different things. Some people want to retire from their job because they want to move on to the next level in their life.
hmm
I.e., they're gonna draw a pension when they get to 52, and then that money that they're getting from their pension is going to allow them to go out and travel the world and do other things and maybe go work another job. They might say, "Hey, I don't want to be in the house all day just sitting around not doing anything."
hmm
But they'll have the money coming in to do that.
Right. And I totally get it. And I want to get. Can you hear me, Theo?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Now I just asked T Hill, what's his definition of retirement, and what does that mean to him, and how is he strategizing towards that? I would like to get
Well,
your thoughts on
I
it.
would say it like this. My vision of retirement, of course, is in another 14 years, when I can say I no longer have to get up and go to work, period. Right. I'm not obligated to work, but that is something that is a trajectory of how I want to be. And trying to get there is the hardest part, right? Of course, using the company's 401 and making some investments outside of that to really put myself in a stable position. And I think that's one of the routes to take is alternate investing, whether you want to do a mutual fund, uh, Roth IRA, becomes pick your poison on that. And also putting myself in a situation at this point that health wise, I'm going to be able to enjoy that retirement. You know, they say health is wealth. And if your health is not there, you're not going to be able to make it to retirement. If you do, retirement's not going to be the best. And I think with these conversations that we hear sometime across social media and just amongst ourselves, we always talk about the health factor and the cost when we are retired. So if you're living on the average, it's what, about $2,000 a month, $24,000 a year, the average American lives off something. And if you just had that and no kind of health care plan with it, no Medicare or Medicaid, then you're going to be destitute. You know, broken arm is $14,000. A heart surgery is almost $1 million, you know. So along with investing for retirement, I'm focusing on taking care of my health for retirement. And I think that's something we all need to be looking at. But I will say strategizing different investments so that not only am I living off of my basic retirement from the government that I paid into. Remember, people, you're paying into this. So if you're saying, I don't want to pay into it, you're giving away money. And I apologize for my camera's acting up. You're giving away free money, really, because you're paying into it. So I encourage everybody, pay into it. Get as much as you can coming in. You know, $60 a week is not a lot. When you look at when you don't work, you're no longer working, you've got 20 years to go, that money comes in handy. So that's kind of how I look at it when it comes to work and retirement and life after work.
Mm-hmm. Um, and one key thing you said there, and I think, of course, we pay attention to it, but I think a lot of people need to pay attention to the health factor. Because if your health goes south on you, that will change everything. Okay. And not necessarily to the point where it could just be something, I don't want to call this simple, but say you had a stroke. Say you have had a stroke. That gets very expensive. That can eat up hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know what I mean? That you set aside for yourself, strategize for yourself to maybe buy a boat, go on a vacation, or whatever retirement looks like to you. All that's out the window, because now you're trying to survive, save your life, and things of that sort. So the health factor is very important. So and as you get old, as you retire, they roll you into a plan. After you get age 65, you know they roll you into a plan because if you paying for health insurance at age 65, I want y'all to understand how expensive that is, you know, to go get private insurance for a 65-year-old person, particularly
Yeah.
like us.
Yeah. You make a great point, DB. But we got to understand, say if your health goes south and you're not retired yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
That means you have to figure out what that means to you. If trucking is the only job you have and you get sick in trucking and you can
Mm-hmm.
no longer drive the truck, right? You can't
Mm-hmm.
make the money that you need to sustain the lifestyle that you were living. So in essence, you are retired at that point. You're retired from trucking.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to figure out a way to make up the income that you need to sustain your lifestyle and to help pay for your health. If you don't have health care,
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's a step. I would like to look at it as a step. Like step one, think about your health care. Right? If you go to get in trucking, think about the benefits you're going to get from a company, right? company say they're going to pay you $100,000 on paper, what are you going to get with that $100,000? Am I going to get health care, vision, dental? Right? Am I going to get, some weeks off to be able to be with my family on holidays and stuff like that? What are
Mm-hmm.
you going to get?
Right.
I don't think people are asking those questions because they're so happy just to get a job. And it's designed that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's these companies, they design things a certain way to draw you in. And of course, the better the company, the harder it is to get in there because they're going to be selective. They're going to be very selective to get you into a great paying company.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Mhm.
Correct. And those are some of the things if I can add on to that is I don't think people realize the benefit factors that you're getting working for a company, right? And I get it. We all have our own path, and we're speaking for those who want to go that path. And one of the things I think we look at or we overlook at is how much money the company is actually investing in us. We say, okay, I get 10 personal days, I get 9 sick days, I've got 3 to 4 weeks vacation. That is a huge cost that the company is giving. So we have to look at that factor because if you are working for yourself, could you give yourself all those days off? Could you match that 401k? Those are things that people got to ask themselves because this all this time that you're taking off, whether it's be a vacation time, personal days, holidays, sick days, it all adds up. When you're at a job and they're providing a lot of these things to you, stress wise, it actually helps you out better because you're not as stressed out about losing money if you have to take off. So it goes back to, health is wealth. So if I'm getting paid to be home, health wise, from a stress standpoint, I don't care. I'm not worried about it. I'm getting paid. But if I'm having to sit home for 4 or 5 days and I'm not getting paid, well, I'm thinking about there's no money coming in at all. So these are things that we need to look at and start really planning and being projected on how we want to do things because been there, done that. And for someone my age, we're in the 50 club and up, we're looking for the exit strategy. But we have to plan for that exit strategy. And the way to do that, of course, is our health and focuses on other outside finances that when we do retire, we're good to go.
Mm-hmm. What's up? What's up, Mr. Wallace?
Hey, how you doing, man? This Robert. I was just tapping in on the conversation. You hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Tapping in on the conversation. This good talk. I just checked in on my way to work. Uh, Pretty much giving feedback on a conversation. Like say when you come from a job like the job I had at. I was there for a long time. I had like 5 weeks of vacation. I think 4 sick days. And then I had my Saturdays and Sundays off. So in a way, I kind of missed being able to have those 5 weeks of vacation off. And now where I'm at now is all about rebuilding up. So sometimes I struggle with that because the place had closed down. The reason why I got into trucking. So and then the other topic about retirement. If you got a pension plan, see if you can stick it out until you max that minimized the years on to what you can get out. That way, you got that lump sum coming in every month. Then you have your Social Security coming in too. So if you got a pension plan or 401k, see if you can try to stay in there. Stay in it until you at least get the age where you can get all your benefits.
Well,
So that's
let me
that's
let,
all I had
let
to
me
say.
yeah. Well, I want to ask you a more of a personal question, right? And I asked
Okay, okay.
the other previous guests, what's retirement mean to you? What's it look like for you? Or do you plan on retirement? Because I talked to some people, they don't even plan on retiring. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, my retirement was
No, what is
retirement
it?
for me.
What's yeah. Hmm.
My retirement plan for me. The way I was going, I would have been able to receive about $10,000 a month. I would have been able to get maybe about $5,000 $6,000 from a job, and maybe about $4,000 for Social Security. So I would have been able to get that amount. But the way I'm going right now, if I don't get nowhere where I got like a pension or save my 401k, the way I'm going right now, I probably won't have no more than about $4 or $5,000. So retirement for me will be I can get this money, I can live off $4,000 a month with a paid off house. But
Hmm.
I still wanted to be able to work when I want to work. I still
Hmm.
wanted to be able to maybe get in the truck or work from home. I wanted to kind of work on my own schedule. I didn't want to be like forced to go. I probably gonna end up dying. To me, I'm probably gonna end up dying working.
I got
I
you.
probably ain't gonna. As long as I got my health and strength, I'm probably always working till I can't work
Got
no
you.
more.
Well, what
That's
do
double,
do
double
you
retirement.
do you plan on drawing Social Security?
Yes, because I put in it.
And, uh,
I put
uh,
in
uh,
it.
right. So let me ask you this: what age do you plan on drawing it?
I'm gonna try to withdraw it at 65. 65.
Right.
If I don't need it at 65, I was gonna wait till 67 or 70. But if I need the
Now,
money at 65, I go ahead and get it at 65.
because at 65, uh, I think the number is 86%. You're not
Yeah,
at full retire. You're not at full retirement age. So full
yeah.
retirement age, everybody who's over a certain age, at least everybody right here, is 67, where you'll get
Okay.
100%. Okay. Anything sooner than that, then you won't get the 100%.
Right, right.
You know,
That,
just
that,
so you know, just so people can understand that, and remember, like, and me myself, right? I'm planning on retiring at 62. That's the earliest you can collect your Social Security, and at 62, they only going to pay me 70%, right? So once I turn 62, I'm still not old enough to get Medicare, right? So now I have to strategize. So what am I going to do from 62 because I can't get the Medicare to age 65? So I got to figure
yeah.
out how am I going to fund that. And like I said, when you're in your 60s and you're trying to buy insurance, it gets very, very expensive. Now,
Right.
what I would suggest people do is talk to some older people that is retired or that's about to retire, and that'll help you strategize. You know what I mean? Because then you know exactly what you're looking at. And here's another thing you can do. I will. I'm going to ask everybody to go to ssa.gov. You have to put in your information. This is your Social Security. This is where your money is going. They're going to tell you where you're at, how much money you're going to be getting a month. Stand on track. They're going to tell you how much you'll make if you retire at 62, 63, 64, 65. They'll tell you that. You know what I mean? So if you put that in there, put that in your ssa.gov right now, now you can start strategizing. You can say, oh man, I'm due to make, just using numbers, say I'm due to make $2,000 in Social Security. You say, man, shoot, that ain't enough. Now, once you
Yeah.
know what that number is, then you can start strategizing to make more money. You know, maybe,
Right.
like I said, like Robert said, he's going to continue to work. A lot of people do that because a lot of people work until they can collect full Social Security, like I said, which is 67 years old. You know what I mean? A lot of people work to 65. So they can, once they stop their working years, they can go right into the Medicare. You know what I mean? That'll be the government health insurance. So, and these conversations we like to have because you have to strategize in life. Don't wing it with your life. Talk to your mother, talk to your father, your grandparents, anybody you know that's retired. Try to at least have some sort of conversation with them and ask them some questions. Hopefully they'll give you give you what you're looking for when you talk to them. You know what I'm saying? Because that can really, help you think about some things you didn't think about.
Yeah. And I would
So,
like to
DB,
add. Go ahead, you.
uh, DB,
Yes, sir.
I talked to maybe about two different people that I'm kind of close to. I know, they retire when they 62, but when they retire when they 62 and they start collecting their money, they only can make so much a year with
Great, another great
with a
point.
yeah. they can only make so much money, but you can do like a 1099 and probably offset it and probably put yourself on a payroll, and you won't get you got all kind of tricks that you can do and
Yeah.
still be able to make a certain amount of money. But just if you go out there and get a regular job, you only can make so much money when you retire at 62.
I think that number, don't hold me to this. Anybody, y'all can look this up. I think it's $21,000 that you can make. Now, you can make more than that $21,000. But remember, for every $2 you make, they're going to take $1. See, that's the penalty. You know what I mean? You don't get a penalty. You don't have to pay the penalty until you're full retirement age. Once you get full retirement age, then you can make whatever you want. So you got to keep that in mind. So for anybody who's planning on drawing retirement early, you might want to think about these sort of things. You know?
Correct. And I think a lot of people don't understand the reason they started retirement, or whatever you want to call it, retirement, as to say, is they started it because they was realizing that the majority of Americans will work all their life and then they were destitute. They had nothing. You can't save enough money to retire on. Literally, because the money's not drawing interest unless it's an interest drawn account. So that was one of the reasons why, because people were just living destitute. Those of us can remember, especially if you're from the South, you will remember that the mother or the grandmother would always have to live with the family because there was no retirement. There was what was considered being destitute. So now we have the knowledge to say we're not going to be destitute. But the reality is, yes, the retirement is there if you're working a W-2, or you're setting yourself up if you're a business owner to retire. But you got to look beyond that. Now, granted, they are raising retirement with the cost of inflation. That's a plus. But with the cost of inflation, when you retire, your bills are set in stone every week. So you can't go too far outside of that, let's say $2,100 or $2,500 a month. Then that's it. Now, the way I want to do it personally is to walk away at 65 as a full-time employee. Then throughout that time, maybe 2 or 3 days a week, because you're going to want to get out the house, right? You just can't sit around and do something that way. Of course, I understand there's only so much I can make. I'm fine with that. But at the end of the day, for those you're in your 20s, you're in your 30s, this is the best time to, along with that retirement through the job, to create another form of retirement for yourself. Because I always like to say, I want to spike the football at the end of the day, where I really don't have to work and worry about a lot. So that's what I think people should live it. But I know they did do a cost of living increase. And even with the SSA.gov, it gives you a good blanket screenshot of where you may be. Because me and you talk about this in T here all the time. They're changing the rules so much. We don't know if they go by your last 4 years. I've heard it's 4 out of 35 years are the highest paying years. So for those younger people now, if you're able to get these W-2 trucking jobs that are paying you $100,000 a year, that's what you want. Don't look at they're taking all these taxes out. The more you make, the more you're going to get. At the end of the day, you have to work and plan for that retirement. If you're just going from job to job, the money's there, but it's so inconsistent where you could work 25, 35 years, and the same guy did the same thing. But guess what? He's bringing home $1,000 more a month. That equates to a lot. And remember, when you retire, I want everybody to think about this. When you retire, you are going to get sick. I don't care who you are. And along with that retirement, think about medical expenses and where you want to be. Because even with having Medicaid that helps you out, give you that insurance, guess what? They only pay so much. And if you got to pay the difference and you're only making $2,200 a month and your healthcare costs with getting medicine is $1,800, the government pays a little bit. That's $400 out of pocket. Well, guess what? You're no longer at $2,200 a month. You're at $1,800 a month. So, I want people to think about that. Like I said, I'm working towards when I can't work. That's my favorite saying. I want to work towards when I can't work and strategize that. But I would say this. If someone tells you you don't need Social Security, don't take that advice, because you never know what can happen. and you want to plan for when you can't work. And if working for a company gives you that opportunity to plan for it, then I say go for it. But remember, it's your future. It's not mine. You have to work for that retirement.
Yeah, it's just extra. It's something
Yeah,
extra,
just
like
extra.
it's
Just
just
extra.
extra, right?
Hmm.
So if it's there, take it. It's a benefit. You know, any job that has benefits, take them. You might not need them, right? Some people say they don't want to use all the benefits. Yeah,
And and think
still got
about
to use
this, right? We're all blue collar workers. Everybody on this panel is a truck driver. As a truck driver, right now, right? You're probably most of us, not all of us, but most of us are probably not going to earn more than you're earning now when you get retirement age. So
them.
who the hell wouldn't like an additional $2,000? I would like that right now. Like,
Mm.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So to
Correct.
dismiss that, man, I think you're doing yourself a disservice.
Hmm.
You
Yeah,
know,
you really are. But I get it. When you're young, you're invincible, right? And we do have a sense of responsibility to tell guys, hey, when you're getting up to this age, this is what you want to think about. But if you start a little earlier, it's going to be better. The sooner you start, the better you're going to be. And
hmm
I know it's hard to convey that to people because sometimes people say, well, I don't want to spend $80 a week for my retirement. Well, 30 years at $80 a week with a matching 3% 401k, you could be spiking the ball at $800,000. And then
hmm
you ask them, well, how can you build $800,000? The answer is nothing. They're quiet because you're thinking about 800,000 versus paying $80 a week, and you got the company matching it. So these are things that I like to convey to people to get them to start thinking about. Because guess what? I was your age. I wasn't thinking about that at your age. You know,
Hmm.
I'm thinking about trying to take care of my kid and buying this and buying that. I wasn't thinking about retirement or what my health is going to be like starting at 50 and going forward. That was not on the table. So I understand the younger people, men and women, but that's why we're here to talk about it. Get it from an older perspective of saying, hey, we're looking forward and we're planning for when we can't work. And you have the
hmm
perfect background, work or retire. I want to retire. I don't want to work full time through my retirement. And just think, touch on what T Hill was saying about if the companies had benefits, take it. We had a conversation last year, and I was kind of upset. I was like, hey man, I'm forced to take off for work. My company doesn't allow you to sell days, and it's the end of the year, and I've got 40 hours, and I got to take them. So I had to take time off. Um, wasn't quite upset. I rather sold it and just worked. But at the same time, you got to take these benefits, good, bad, and ugly, whether it's days off or going to your 401, and make sure you're going somewhere that has good health care and do your preventive maintenance. If you look at a company, I always say this: you are no different than a truck. We drive a truck, we change the oil on the truck, we do preventive maintenance on the truck, right? Preventive maintenance, go to the dentist. Preventive maintenance, get your blood panels done at a certain age, get your colonoscopy done. Always check up on your body. If you treat your body like you did that truck, guess what? You're going to live a little longer and you're going to make more money. What do we always say? If the truck's not moving, I'm not making any money. So think about that process when you start thinking about retirement and how you want to treat your body. Once again, I'm looking forward to my retirement, and thanks to DB and T Hill, they gave me some good information, and I've been putting it into play for my retirement. I will say thank you to both of these brothers for that. And there's some things I did that I got a little too excited. I told DB kind of screwed
oh.
up, but you know what? And you know me, I don't mind telling the good and bad, right? Now, I'll
Yeah,
just tell
yeah,
everybody
yeah.
this story for retirement. Open up a brokerage account, right? And I'm buying stuff and good stuff. And I would always tell DB, well, man, I still got my 401k going with ADP for when I owned the truck, and I had my mutual fund. I had this. Well, I started doing my numbers. Well, guess what? I'm 50. I could only put 8,000 into that account. Well, I come to find out I have about 4 or 5 different accounts now, and I'm adding up the money, and I'm really found out some more stuff that's good but damaging because guess what? I exceeded that amount, that I'm going to have to pay a lot of taxes on it. Let's see if we can do a backdoor, and we're going to do a video about that. Show what happens when you go over that IRA amount. But it's still trying to do something, and I'm still learning. That's why I'm so happy when we can do this and then talk with the young ones to get them to understand. Hey, you want to start now. Don't wait. Start now and work for retirement. And I will say this now. Quiet down for a minute. Yield to the panel. You said it best. The only person that can take care of the old you is the young you. That's just a fact.
Yeah, I mean, you said it well, man.
I got some.
Go ahead.
I got something to say. I want to know what y'all take on. I think I mentioned it to you the other night when we were talking on the phone, or the other morning when we were talking on the phone. I like, what's your take on people? Keep bringing up the yellow, saying people not getting their money when they working over so many years. They look like they putting out false information. So that I guess discourage the young people on putting money in there, thinking that they gonna lose that money or they not gonna be eligible for that money if the company go under. What are some of your takes, or what some of the things you would tell the young folks or about this false information that's been
Could I
being put out?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay. As a former union employee, Yellow Freight their pensions was part of Central States. Central States is not bankrupt. You still will get your pension. Now, whether you're going to get the full 100% or not, I can't validate that, but you're still going to get your pension. And there's always a bunch of rules, people saying this and saying that. And the best one to follow is Bink TV, former Yellow employee, great brother. He can break all that down, but these guys are still going to get their pension. It's just heartbreaking when a company goes under. And understand this: the people who were saying they won't get their pension, they never worked for a union. That's just a fact. If you work for a union, you would not say anything like that.
Okay, good answer. I just want to kind of give information out to the people that's listening. Just give them something something to think about, and just we just putting information out there so people kind of have an understanding.
Mm-hmm. Uh, and just to piggyback on that, if you at a job, if you're at a job and they got a 401, they got a pension, whatever they have there, right? It is what it is. So you might as well take advantage of it. But also protect yourself. You can open up your own brokerage account, fund it yourself, make your investments yourself. You can do that. I always say protect your net, like, because you actually control that, like you're hands on with that. You can you can buy different ETFs, mutual funds, whatever you're into. I don't try to tell anybody what to buy. I just buy what I buy, and it is just a strategy. And I just hope it works at the end of the day, because that's what we all doing. We're trying to strategize and try to set ourselves up for the life we want to live. So I would say put that, keep that in your control, because you can control that. Because if you're working at a company, excuse me, most companies have the companies that have a 401. I'm not saying most companies have 401, but companies that have a 401, okay, they're managed by somebody. You're going to pay fees for that. Don't think that if your 401 it has, a $500,000 in there, understand you got fees on that, but somebody is managing that. So you got to keep that in mind, and if you're doing a traditional, of course, you're going to have to pay taxes on that at the end. So hopefully you got a Roth going. That way you're paying your taxes now as opposed to at the end. But in the Roth, you can only contribute a certain amount. But in the traditional, you can contribute more. So I would say max out the Roth first. But this is my strategy. This is what I do. Anybody can do whatever you want to do. I say max out the Roth first, and then the additional, put it in the traditional. You know what I mean? That's just my strategy. But everybody got to do what they think is going to work for them. That's just what I do. And this is why I like having conversations with different people, because they make me think about some things that I wasn't thinking about. This is why I like having conversations with older people who are already in retirement. And you just have a conversation with them. You can look at what they did throughout their life. You can ask them, the kind of money they make. One thing about older people, they tend to be more honest than younger people. You know what I mean? They don't sugarcoat nothing. If they gonna tell
Correct.
you in a minute, I'm broke. Let me borrow 500. I ain't got no money. Like, you know what I'm saying? The young guys, they go, what I'm saying? They all got money. I don't know a young truck driver today that ain't rich. You know what I'm saying? They all rich, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. And to touch on that with the
Uh,
union, there are a lot of non-union companies, especially in trucking. I noticed that, and I've
Mhm.
worked for a couple of them, where they actually have a 401k and a pension. And how it works out is, I can just go from where I'm at. Well, I pay my normal 401k, and the company gives their portion. I give my portion, but the company gives you so much on every hour you work to a pension. You don't put anything in, and it averages out to about $4,800 right now. That's $4,800 free money a year.
Mhm.
So when you start looking at numbers, if you just say it's $4,000 in 5 years, you've got $20,000 that's waiting on you when you retire. So
Mhm.
there's a lot of good companies out there that are offering these kind of pay packages to attract the good drivers. So they're there, but I just say it plain and simple. I don't care who you're working for. It could be Mickey Mouse Express. If they have retirement accounts set up for their employees, jump in it. If you think about, well, I can do this, I can tell anybody, you blow $7,000 a year. There's stuff we buy that's $7,000 we cannot account for. I know I can at getting older, and short-term memory is starting to take effect. But that money, we can't account for it. So take advantage of it now so you don't become destitute when you get older. And here's the thing they always say, and I think the older gentlemen would agree with me on this. What happens if I die? Well, you can't take it with you, but guess what? You left something for your family. If your wife is there, you leave it for your wife. If you don't have a wife and you have a child or two, guess what? You're leaving them something. So don't just think about, if I die, I can't take the money with me. Don't worry about that. It's going to be
Mhm.
well spent when you're leaving it for your family. The average person can't even pay for his funeral. So think about that concept. And then you leave this earth and you still have a wife, you have grandkids. Well, why not let them take that over? Because you participated in it for 25 years. That's money that they could use.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
I'm gonna speak on that. I'm gonna speak on that just a little bit. Uh,
Mhm.
and make sure like your human resource. You get in touch with your human resource. Make sure you have your beneficiary. Make sure you have the right people that's for the hire for your beneficiary. If you pass, you got this person who you want to leave your money to. Some people I known in the past. I worked a long time, so we didn't ran into different situations. Person might not even have nobody on a nobody name on a beneficiary. Now all that money got to go to the state, or their daughter got to wait till they 18. So they kids got to wait till they 18 till they get that money. So make sure you have that stuff in writing. Maybe get your will, uh, saying all the things that you want to get done when you pass away.
Mhm.
Correct. Correct. And,
That's a
and
good
for the
point.
owner operators out there, business owners, I just want to say this, as a former owner operator, we're always looking for a tax deduction, right? We're always looking for that deduction.
Hold on 1 second, Theo. Cam up real quick so I can see you. All right.
Yeah,
You
we're,
close it.
we're always we're always looking for that deduction. And I
All right.
think if we
What's
think
up, Slim?
about our retirement, well, that money we're putting for our retirement as small business owners, this can be deducted if you set it up right. You can deduct that money as a tax contribution for yourself. So just think about that. Don't just have the notion that I'm not going to need no money when I retire, because guess what? Nobody's invincible. And at 25, Theo was saying the same exact thing I'm saying now. Man, I ain't worried about that. But guess what? I'm
Mhm.
50, soon to be 51 in a couple of days, and I'm stressed out about retirement. Because I feel like I won't have enough, but we're planning to have something. I would say half a loaf of
Yeah.
bread is better than no bread. How are you doing, Day Cap?
Hey, what's up there?
Yeah.
How's it going? What up? T Hill, we got T Hill in here, and DB. I'm loving this
What's happening?
conversation. I just kind of came in here and just it fires me up just hearing you guys talk about it.
Yeah, and I'm glad you loving this conversation because you are a younger guy compared to us on this panel. So what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on retirement? Do you plan on retirement? And if you do plan on retirement, how are you strategizing towards that?
Well, I heard someone talk about this, and it kind of relates to me. It's like w- I have to look at my future self. What is my future self uh looking down at me right now? What is he saying to me? Is he calling me an idiot? He's calling me like, what are you doing? So I gotta it's like I'm pretty much trying to set up a life for somebody else, like a dependent. It's a future me. So it's up to me. It's only up to me. It's up to nobody else. So my actions today is going to reflect the person I'm going to be, 15, 20 years from now. So that's the way I look at it. It's a person. It's a dependent. It's someone you're going to have
So
to take care of. So
how go ahead.
yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
No, so how are you setting up for that? What are you doing to make sure the young you is going to be able to take care of the old you?
Well,
What
first of all, I'm scared. It scares the hell out of me because I didn't start out in my 20s investing,
hmm
But right now is every free dollar I have, I know I have time on my side. I have a little bit more time than other people, so it has more time to grow. So maxing out I get my company match, and I heard you guys talk about it. I get that
hmm
company match, max out my Roth, and right now I'm trying to see. I heard you say dirty about individual or traditional. I'm not going that route. I'm going more brokerage account.
Okay.
Uh, there are tax implications, but I don't have $1 million, so the tax implications I'm gonna occur or what occur is nominal. It's not a lot, so it doesn't really affect me too much. I'd rather have that flexibility to move my money, get liquid immediately.
I understand.
This
I
opportunity
totally
comes
understand.
along. I gotta, have the opportunity to get liquid.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
and Slim, didn't you max out last year?
Oh yeah,
Yes, he
absolutely.
did. Yes, he
I plan
did.
on
Shout out
maxing
to him.
out probably by the end of February. As soon as I get my tax refund, that's gonna max it out of me. I'm gonna max it out day one.
Oh,
See
yeah.
that strategy right
So,
there?
Yeah,
and we're
he's
doing it
reinvesting his money. Literally, I'm
right.
gonna reinvest it in myself. And when
What'd
you
you say,
have
T Hill?
I
Oh,
was gonna say we're still doing a 10K challenge. So um that could be somebody's strategy at the end of the year is maxing out their IRA. So uh Daycare Slim, what does that look like monthly if somebody wanted to do a monthly um IRA
Uh,
challenge?
it's a little less than I think it's like 135 a paycheck, right? I think it comes down to 10K. You talking about
No, for
10K? You
your
talking about the Roth?
no, for the
for
Roth.
the
We're
Roth.
still doing a
So
10K challenge, but if somebody wanted to follow along and do a IRA challenge, um, and if they're doing the 10K challenge with us, they have enough to max out their Roth, depending on their age, right?
Yeah. If you're under, I think 50. What is it? I'm not sure what the exact age is, but
yeah,
for
50.
us it's seven. It's 7,000, which is about 135 a paycheck. But that's only coming out to 7,000. If we're doing the 10K challenge, we still got to come up with three. So that's exactly what I'm doing. Is I'm gonna max out my Roth, and after I max out my Roth, I'm gonna be putting the 150 a month away in my traditional, going investments like SPY.
All
And
right.
the reason why SPY is
There you go.
because uh, you have the opportunity to buy and sell calls, aka options.
There you go. See,
All
that's his
right.
strategy. This is why I
Now,
like talking to the different people.
yeah. Now,
Go
let
ahead.
me ask you a question, DB. I think you would probably be able to answer this. If I'm doing the 10K challenge, and let's say, of course, I can do 8,000 because of my age, but I would still want to take the other two at the end of the year. Could I put it in my brokerage account, but apply it to the next following year? Could I do that? And you know what I mean? And instead of saying, okay, I'm only going to do 8 in my brokerage. I got to figure out what to do with the other 2,000. And I decided to take that too and say, you know what, I'm going to apply it to the next year. Is that possible? I'm not sure.
You probably confusing everybody because you're saying 8 in your brokerage. Are you talking about your IRA?
Yes.
Okay.
The Roth.
Your Roth.
Yeah.
Right.
So basically,
Yeah.
I put the 8 there, but I still have another 2 left for the 10,000. Could I put it in the account, but forward it for the next year? Is that possible?
No.
No, because that's going to take you
No.
over your limit. Yeah.
Yeah.
That-
Okay.
That's going to, but why don't you just, and this is why I like to have these conversations. So with your other 2, you can always put your other 2, right, in your emergency fund, because you can never have enough, right? Emergency fund. Or here's another option, because you are a W-2 worker, right? You have a matching 401 at your job, I believe, correct?
Correct.
You can put that over there.
Okay. And I think that's probably what I would do. I probably would sit down with you offline and ask a couple more questions about that, because like I said, this information is there for those who want it. And I'm trying to get it. So I'm asking every question. It sounds ridiculous, but they say there's
no wrong questions. Just, if you don't know what questions to ask. And so that's why we're trying to have this conversation for everybody to put questions in the comment section. So if y'all have any questions, we can work through it and try to figure out the answer.
Hmm. And this is why I say you always want to talk to multiple people. Just get as much information as you can. You take in this information, talk to some professionals. I don't think anybody on here is a professional. At least I don't think they are. If you are, just let me know. And talk to a professional. Always seek professional advice, particularly when it comes to how you going to, move your money around, because I don't think nobody on this panel is purposely going to try to mislead you with information, things like that. So any kind of information you get from anybody, just check it, double check it, check behind them. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, just a quick thing, Theo. Just to go back real quick, what I'm doing. I don't know if I was clear. So what I'm doing is pretty much 401k match up to the match, not a penny more. So if my match is, let's say, 4% in 2024, to get the 4%, I got to put in 8. So I'm only doing that 8%. The company matches the other 4. I get 12%. That's all. Not a penny more. That's probably at 100 grand a year. That's 8 grand, for example, right? I'm not even counting that. That's my number one. I don't do anything before that. That gets taken out my check. After that, after tax, the money that gets deposited into my bank account, that goes into my Roth. My number 2 goal is max out that Roth. That thing's got to be at $7,000 before the year's over, no matter what.
The sooner the better, right?
Correct. Yeah, I'm with that. Yep. And then what happens is if I'm doing a 10K challenge, I'm not even counting what's in my 401k. So what I put in this year. So if my 10K challenge is 10K, I have 7K in my Roth. I got 3K I got to do something with. Now, I already have a fully funded emergency fund. So having the cash there, it's kind of, I'll get 5% right now on that money. But I feel I could also get that return in if I put it in, for example, my traditional. I could just fund my my brokerage account. So if I put that money in my brokerage account, the brokerage account is going to pay me that 5% too, even if I just leave the cash there. Even if I don't deploy it into like a stock or a fund, it's going to pay me that 5%.
Okay. That's That's a good point right there. That's a good point.
Yeah, it could just sit there.
Give you, so just sitting in your brokerage, they're going to what is it paying you right now? 5%?
A little, just 5%. Yeah, at Fidelity, it's 5%. If it's in the SPAXX, because when you deposit money in there, it automatically goes into that account, SPAX, which is same as cash. It's not deployed. It's just sitting there.
Gotcha.
They're paying you 5% on your money.
There you go.
So that's where it sits for me. And if I see a juicy opportunity on for example, right now I'm looking at Starbucks. I'm kind of big on Starbucks right now. So
Mhm.
they
You
pay a
just like the
dividend.
you just like the way the coffee tastes, man.
I like the lines I see when I pass by
Yeah, that's good. That means money, brother.
Right.
it. Plus they pay a dividend. A lot of people are into funds, and like I said, Starbucks is a great company. And plus they have exposure all over the world, so it's not just an American company. It's in China. They're building like a big thing in India right now, so it's getting big. Plus they have like those gift cards, the Starbucks gift cards.
Hmm.
They have $1 billion just in gift cards that are not being used right now.
Wow.
So
Wow.
when I heard that, I'm like, so what that means is that could only be spent on coffee. People can't buy anything else with it. It's those gift cards.
Coffee. Right.
So
Hmm.
so they got that. Damn. But yeah. Anyway, funds. But that's where I'm at. I'm 38 years old, so if I was 55, I'd have a different strategy. But at 38, I have, at least 10, 15 years of, there could be a big opportunity. God forbid, there's another COVID. Stocks drop 50%. I'm going in. I
Hmm.
want to
Yeah.
have the cash. Or,
And I
I
think
don't know, real estate crash. I don't know. Maybe it'll be a duplex, that's
Hmm.
mm,
half the price that is right now. I want to have the liquid cash to put in the down payment or something like that. If I'm in
Right.
a traditional IRA or traditional 401k, I can't touch that money without a penalty.
Hmm.
correct.
So
And
that
and just to touch on something that you said, Slim, and if you're investing somewhat like what we're doing, if the stock markets drop every now and then, that's a good thing for us because we can buy in at a lower cost. It's always going to go back up. So for those who are thinking about it, and I don't know if I should do anything with my money in the stock market, it's a benefit. It's patience. It's truly understanding what you're doing. But at the same time, if it drops, you want to buy more because guess what? It's going to go back up. It always does. So let's not let the fear of the stock market going down stop us from investing for our future. I think that's the way I
Hey,
wanted to put it.
what do we do when the stocks go down?
We buy.
We buy.
buy, baby, buy.
Yeah, we buy.
Buy,
We
baby,
buy.
buy. You know what I'm saying? We do what the majority of people don't do. Because if you do what the majority of people do, you get what the majority of people got.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What's funny to me is when you buy into the stock market, right? I see it as cash. I see it as net worth. I see it as my money. I don't see it as my money disappearing, going to a different place where it just, it's gone. You can always log in and see your money. Can it be up and down? Yeah, it could be up and down, but as long as it's gonna eventually go up, and I'm not
Hmm.
talking about meme stocks like AMC, hint hint dirty. But if you're in a solid fund, the S&P 500 fund, the Russell 2000, a VU, a VTI, one of those SPY, the SCHDs, sorry if I'm naming off stuff that people have no idea what I'm talking about, but it's pretty much the
Nah,
market.
man.
As long as you
Yeah.
buy the market, you're fine. Don't try to beat the market. The money will
No,
always be there.
keep naming. I'm trying to write it down as you was naming it, and I did the VU last year, so this year I'm gonna try to do the VGT. That's what I started with. I'm gonna try to finish with that.
Yeah. I think my
What?
favorite day, I have a couple of favorite days of the month. Dirty, you probably don't look at it as much as I do, but the first is when the bank pays you your APY
Hmm.
every month.
Hmm.
So and then every quarter you get the dividends from your stocks. So
Hmm.
love seeing
What
that.
do you?
Love seeing the credits in my account.
I got you. What do you say to people who call this a scam? What do you say to those people with that kind of mindset?
Mm, Probably you're ignorant, you don't understand, and you probably don't have money. Or well, let me not say that. Let me just say someone's probably ignorant or they've been burnt. They've probably put in money, followed the hype, and stock market went down. They're like, whoa, I don't want to lose any more money, so they pull it out. That's like, it's like when you're on a roller coaster and you get off when the ride's going up.
Yeah, because
You got to stay for the whole ride.
Because I hear these conversations, man, I ain't invested in that, man. My uncle, my auntie, man, she lost $50,000. I said, I just asked them a simple question. How did she lose that money? And then you know what they say? I don't know. You know what I mean? I say, I know. You know what I mean? It's like, it's crazy, when they say that and don't know why. So it's just like when people just give them information and, it just helps muddy the water, so to speak. You know what I mean? And not educating people on how this actually works, But
Yeah,
I don't
well,
know.
they don't teach this in school. If
No?
I was in high school, even college, and my professor
Okay.
tells me, 401k is the first thing you do. Like create a budget or create something. They don't teach you that stuff. They
Hmm.
don't teach you about money. They don't teach you about the stock market.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like,
And it's a reason why they don't teach you this in school, man. It's a damn good reason why they don't teach this in school.
Yeah, yeah, I would have to agree. And what do we say when we're talking offline, right? If we knew or had the financial literacy that we have now when we were 25, we'd probably be a millionaire, right? So that's what it's
yeah,
all about, getting some financial literacy and understanding. Now, hey, the younger you are, the better you are. There's no doubt about it. But even as you're getting older, it doesn't hurt to put forth the effort and start investing in yourself.
Hmm. Yeah, we had that conversation before. Flying colors, estate planning. Actually, all these conversations we actually have privately. And I said, let's bring these conversations publicly. Every person on here, every last one of these people on this panel, we've had these conversations. This is pretty much what we talk about all the time. We're constantly talking about this sort of thing, you know?
Correct.
yeah.
And believe it or not, they're not as boring as people think they are.
I don't find it boring at all. I just wish I had done this when I was 18 years old.
Yeah, to tell you honestly, I've been following some dudes, that do the trades and mostly into trade funds, like
Hmm.
the ones we talk about offline and we've mentioned here, and they post their account balances either through Robinhood or through Fidelity, Vanguard, and I'm seeing these kids, they're 25, 27 years old with multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars in those accounts, and I'm
Hmm.
like, that could have been us at that age. Imagine we would be at 40, 50. It'd just be insane. Like, I'm in a Discord group where I follow some guy's trade. This guy is doing trades on millions of dollars. Like,
Yeah.
so he's retired, doing this stuff. But these are people who work regular jobs that are retired now. These aren't, people who they're from Wall Street or anything like that. They're just people who read a couple of books, started doing it a little bit here and there, and got good at it. And you know,
Mhm.
you can
Well,
mess around that stuff when you got $2 million to play with.
yeah, but here's the thing. What do they say? You could take $1 as long as you invest that dollar consistently. You're still going to have a lot of money, right? And it boils down to financial literacies. It's just something that's not going to be taught in school. I think the state of Florida is starting to do it. Don't quote me, but it's something that when we get a certain age, we start looking back at what we did in our life and how we wasted money. I can go back and say, over 22 years ago, instead of buying a $1,500 Anichi suit, I should have just put that money in a brokerage, and invested it, right? So that's just what it's all about. Financial literacy, learning, trying to get to where we want to be. But I will say this to anybody that's listening: do something. You're better off doing something than nothing. Trust me. And if you don't understand the math, there are times I don't understand it. And speaking with T Hill and DB, they're very good at breaking it down, especially T Hill. He convinced me with just learning about VGT, and he broke the numbers down so eloquently. I had no choice but to buy it because he made it simple. He spoke to me like I'm a 5-year-old child, And I understood, and I said, you know what? This is what I'm going with for the year. And it was a great decision, because guess what? It's been going up since I brought it, and it's still continuing to grow.
On VGT, let me take a look at it. Index fund, okay. Gross expense ratio 0.10. Kind of expensive, but for a mutual fund, it's kind of expensive.
Yeah, it is. It is very expensive, but you know what? I've got to purchase something, right?
Oh
And
yeah,
I
yeah,
really-
yeah.
I
Listen,
wanna take that
any
faith.
fund, is a good fund for the most part.
Correct.
I got something to say before I get out, but I'm gonna be listening. Get ready to do my pre-trip in a minute, putting all my stuff in the truck. But this the only thing I gotta say. I think I feel pretty good. Exactly where I'm at, but I need to improve, and I'm working on it. I think I need to work on my emergency fund. So that's gonna be my step for this year. Work on my emergency fund. I've been with the company for about 8 months now, and I want to say I got maybe about $8,000 total with my 401k and Roth. What they matched. So I think I'm doing pretty decent, but I got room for improvement. So
Hey, I'm sorry, what was your name?
my name is Robert Wallace.
Oh, Robert, and you were Gemini, I see, right?
Yes, I'm with Gemini.
Oh, well, congratulations, man. It's a good company.
Yeah. I like it. Right now it's slow, so it's slow. So I'm just hoping to get a little bit better. When it's pick on up. During this time of year, it'd be a little slow, but they say it pick up a little. A couple weeks after the holidays. So I'm still learning. This is my first time doing real hauling. Been trucking for about 3 years, so I still got a lot to learn. And I'm just trying to learn. Trying to get better, try to be a better person. Better friend, but better husband, and just try to improve on my situation. That's all I had to say.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that sounds amazing. I love it.
Good deal. Good deal.
But I'm gonna clock on out. I'm gonna get out of the background and go ready to do my pre-trip, but I'm gonna be listening.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, brother.
All
Yeah,
right,
we ain't
man.
gonna
Be
be too
safe.
much longer. Yeah.
Appreciate you, Mr. Wallace.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, VGT is nice. I'm looking at it as, it's a good information technology fund. It's similar to QQQM. The difference is it
Mm-hmm.
has about 200 more stocks in here.
Mm-hmm.
Because the total 315 versus I think QQQM has like 100 something. It's cheaper than QQQM. So yeah, information technology is big right now. It's growing like crazy. Probably in the last 12 years, it probably has one of the highest growths
Mm-hmm.
in the market, right?
That's why I'm all in on the QQQM. Uh-oh, I gave him one.
Hey, this is why we have the young guys, because they can explain it a whole lot better,
Mhm.
than us older guys.
Yeah. The one thing, Dirty, I don't know if you look at it or not, and I've been noticing is that a lot of these funds, the
Mhm.
top 10 to 20 holdings hold the majority of the fund, the percentage of the
Absolutely.
fund.
Yep.
And that's something people into like for example, this one, which one am I looking at? The VGT. Just Apple alone holds 21.49% of the shares, and I don't know if I'm comfortable with Apple doing it. And the reason why is because like they're talking about what is Apple doing? What is their innovation? Add another camera,
Mm. Man, look,
So,
they,
but Microsoft is big right now. They bought the Chat GPT. They have a big investment in AI, and Nvidia is through the roof. So Broadcom is one of the better companies out here. Adobe.
mm-hmm.
Not too familiar with Adobe. Well, I know Adobe,
Uh-huh.
they have the Photoshop and they do a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Intel, Cisco. Now, these are great companies. They're all top tech companies in the world, pretty much. It's a good fund.
Mm-hmm.
I'd invest in it.
Oh, I got you.
It's a good fund. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my thing. I think what it comes down to is just like, for me, we follow the same thing. Build your emergency fund and then invest.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you do that, you'll be all right. Just continue investing. That money is
Yeah.
not just falling into a hole and disappearing. That's your money for your future.
Yeah.
And stop looking at it day to day. Look at it
Mm.
year to year. One day it's up, one day it's down. That don't matter. Zoom out. Look at the chart.
Mhm. Yep. Mm-hmm.
T Hill, is that your new vehicle behind you? That's what you got.
That's what he's doing with his retirement money right there. That's it
Man.
right there. That's his retirement money right there. Mm-hmm.
Sounds about right. T Hill could probably
Yep.
get 3 of those.
Oh
Mhm.
man, what do you say? We gotta enjoy ourselves. We gotta enjoy what we work for.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's 3 things you could do with money, right? You could save it, you could spend it, and you can give it. You got to do a little bit of all 3.
Oh well, I'm doing all 3 of those.
Man, look, I just want to spend it, man. Shoot.
I'm doing all 3 of those.
Nah, I'd rather make it, take a little bit and spend it for myself and give the rest away. That's what I'd rather do. Now, that's just me,
I ain't giving nothing away.
You got to give back. You got to give back.
My kids ain't getting nothing. My grandkids ain't. My old lady ain't getting nothing. I'm down.
That's a lie.
Yeah,
That's a lie.
I would definitely say my kid is going to get whatever I got, right? But in the meantime, is to plan her so that she don't have to do. In the meantime, is to sit with the boys so they don't have to worry about when they're coming up on my age and say, "Hey, I got to start." No, you're starting this year. If I got anything to do with it, and they're very receptive. So we should be starting up in another month with all 3. Setting them down and say, hey, you can pick which way you want to go, but you got to get going. That's my theory on it, right? We got to start now versus waiting. So that's going to be the goal for this year, of course, in my own personal investment,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because, like I said, you want to encourage your kids to do this because like we always say, man, we wish we'd have done this sooner. Well, let your kids be the ones doing it sooner.
Right.
Teach them. Teach your kids. I mean, that's what I do. That's what I hope we all doing, and it's not easy to get a young person to do this. It's not easy to do that, but when they're your kids, never stop trying,
Right.
because we all want to see our kids do better than us. At least I hope you do, like I think most of us on here, we've done better than our parents, at least I think most of us. And of course, we want our kids to do better than us.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
And we got to give them that information, man. The information that we've learned, whether it be good or bad, because of course we all don't, make all the right decisions, but we learn from them, and you can pass that on to your children so they don't make the same mistakes you made.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a firm believer as a parent that kids are a mini microcosm of their parents, right? And of course, you got a female parent, you got a male parent. But at the same time, I used to stress with mine, hey, listen, you're not going to go through something me and your mother haven't been through. So don't think we can't talk about it, right? Because at the end of the day, we all go through similar things growing up, just day-to-day life things, was mental, physical, finances. We all go through it. And if we can head it at the past so that they don't have to go through it, that's even better. And if we can get them, financially literate, it's even more better, because you're right. We're a lot better off than our parents, and we want our kids to be better off than us. We don't want them sitting around having this conversation. I know your daughter and my daughter, they're close in age, not too close, but close. But we don't want them sitting around at this age of their life talking about shoulda, coulda, woulda. We don't want that. So that's just how I look at it.
Yep.
I don't know.
Well, it's definitely been a good conversation, man.
Yeah. So I guess before we close out, if anybody got anything they want to add on here, just I guess now will be a good time to put that out there. If you got a question or you got a statement you want to make, I guess now would be the time to do that.
Well, I would say this, just to everybody's listening, just think about where you want to be when you can't work financially, of course, mentally, and that's dealing with your health. Just think about where you want to be and try to prepare for it. And one thing about trying to prepare, there's always going to be an obstacle that's going to come in and try to knock you off that horse, but just stay with it, stick with it, and learn as much as you can about finances. Because at the end of the day, I think it's safe to say that we've all, we all have that shortcoming in finances, but we always want to have the money to do things. And when we get to that age, we're not working. I still want to travel, so I want to make sure my finances are there. And basically, hey man, I will end it with there. For me, I appreciate you, brother, bringing me on. Good conversation as always when we talk. So, and I will
Absolutely.
yield to the panel, my brother.